My wife, who's always been into fitness, started going to the gym a lot more. Eventually, I found out she was involved with someone she met there, and she admitted to cheating on me and possibly getting pregnant by him. Now she's moving in with him. Her gym obsession is destroying our marriage. She's 30 and has always been fit, but her gym visits have gone overboard lately. She used to work out at a gym in college but stopped at some point, preferring to exercise at home or go for runs outside. Then, about 18 months ago, she decided to start going back to the gym regularly since her new job allowed her more time for it. At first, her gym visits were normal, but they kept increasing. She began attending classes both days on weekends, then started going to the gym every day. Eventually, she added morning and evening sessions before and after work. Whenever she felt stressed or faced a crisis, her immediate reaction was to go to the gym. Even after we argued, she'd run off to the gym. Now she's 4 months pregnant, and I'm surprised we even found time to conceive. I understand it's safe for her to exercise during pregnancy, especially since she was already active before, but the intensity hasn't slowed down. If she misses a gym session, she gets extremely irritable, like a junkie craving a fix. It's just strange, definitely too much of a good thing. Naturally, she gets upset when I express concern about her gym obsession and how it's affecting our time together. She's built a whole social circle at the gym, prioritizing them over me. When I suggest we work out together, she insists that the gym is her personal time. It's not about me feeling insecure about her fitness compared to mine. I'm in good shape too, thanks to my job's demands. But I genuinely worry about her excessive exercise habits. It's not just about staying fit. It's like she's using the gym to avoid dealing with life's challenges. Instead of facing problems, she runs to the gym for a quick mood boost. But this means she neglects other responsibilities, leaving me to handle everything at home. It's gotten so bad that friends have even noticed and mentioned it to me. People have noticed changes in her behavior, how often she's at the gym and how little they see her. Some have even hinted at the possibility of her having an affair with someone from there. Does this sound normal to you? She insists it is. Update: my wife might be cheating, but I'm not sure to what extent. Someone suggested I seek advice here after messaging me privately. She's 30, I'm 32, and we've been married for 8 years. I won't go over all the details again, but I posted about a week ago regarding my wife's gym addiction. She spends most of her free time there, sometimes going twice or even 3 times a day. If we argue at night, she'd rather escape to the gym than talk to me. She won't let me join her gym, and she refuses to come to mine. She insists on having her gym and me having mine. I've invited her to join me multiple times. She's 18 weeks pregnant with our first child, but her intense gym routine hasn't slowed down. I never thought she was cheating until people suggested it in the last thread. And now I'm not so sure. It's obvious she's spending a lot of time at the gym given her great shape. I was initially confident about the cheating accusations when I posted 9 days ago. Cheating wasn't even on my mind then. But after reading the comments on my last post, I started to doubt her fidelity. Normally, she's always glued to her phone, but this time she left it on the kitchen counter. Feeling stupid, I gave in to the temptation to check her texts quickly. There was an ongoing conversation with a guy whose name I recognized from her frequent mentions at the gym. She's friends with many people there and even attended one of their weddings last fall. At first, I wasn't overly worried, but as I read the texts, my concern grew. I never wanted to know what the guy looked like, but now I do. She returned to the room after just a minute or two, so I had to scroll through the messages fast. I was livid. When I asked her about the conversation, she exploded at me for looking at her phone. I explained that her strange behavior and obsession with the gym were bothering me, so I peeked, hoping to find nothing. But it wasn't nothing to me. She seemed very interested in this nothing. I demanded to know if she'd been involved with him, but she kept denying it. Furious, I stormed out of the house, slamming her phone on the ground and shattering it before leaving. She called me names for breaking her phone. She struck me on the back with all her force. I left and sought refuge at my brother's house. Both he and my sister-in-law were taken aback, especially since she had been vocal about her concerns regarding my wife's gym obsession. frequently bringing it up to me. When I returned home, my wife was in bed, tearful. She couldn't bring herself to call me or anyone else. She was laying on the guilt pretty thick, pleading for me to forgive her. I took her phone to be repaired that night. Despite feeling like she didn't deserve it, I still felt guilty about damaging her property. I'm still uncertain about the extent of her infidelity. She refuses to confess to anything beyond what I saw. Was it just harmless digital flirting or something more serious? I'm convinced it was more, but she won't hand over her phone, now painting me as the villain for breaking it. It's not something I'm proud of, but after she hit me, I was tempted to retaliate physically. However, I've never and would never lay a hand on her like that. Update 2. My wife finally admitted to having an affair. Unsure if posting something on my profile will reach anyone, but I don't feel like making another update on a subreddit. Today, she asked me to stay home from work so we could have a serious conversation. She spent the whole day in bed yesterday, hoping to elicit sympathy from me, but I ignored her completely and decided to attend my family's Super Bowl party instead. Although I wasn't really in the mood for it, I couldn't bear staying home with her. My leaving deeply upset her, and she bombarded me with texts, questioning how I could be so cold and insensitive to leave during such a situation. Today, I stayed home to have a conversation with her. She was in tears, expressing how sorry she was. According to her, she genuinely went to the gym twice a day because she enjoyed it. It's where her friends are, it boosts her mood, and it's fun. She met this guy there who happens to be quite popular among gym goers. I didn't realize gyms had popular people. She confessed that while she initially only flirted back lightly, the guy's attention gave her butterflies, and she found herself flirting back unintentionally. It felt reminiscent of having a school crush when she was younger. Their texting started off innocently for several months, but she admitted feeling excited every time she received a message from him. She was attracted to him, but made it clear she was married and nothing could happen between them. However, despite her boundaries, he continued to flirt until they eventually crossed the line. She claimed she resisted for a while but eventually succumbed, leading to a kiss one day. She confessed to enjoying the affair but also admitted feeling guilty about it. Despite this guilt, she slept with him for the first time later that night, describing it as akin to falling in love for the first time. She couldn't shake the thought. Was she in love with him? She wasn't sure. As for the baby, she believed it was mine, although there was a small chance it could be his, since they were sleeping together around the time she got pregnant. Even though he always used protection, the timing was a concern. She assured me of her love for me but couldn't deny the intense chemistry between her and the other man. Uncertainty plagued her about her feelings for him, the paternity of the baby, and why she'd engaged in the affair. She was torn and didn't know what steps we should take. Then came the shocking question, would I stay if the baby wasn't mine? I responded unequivocally that I would leave, unwilling to raise another man's child. She seemed surprised by my answer, pleading with me to reconsider given our shared history. But I stood firm in my decision. She agreed to a DNA test, tearfully doing so in a bid to garner sympathy, which only left me feeling confused and betrayed. Update 3. My wife is leaving me for her affair partner from the gym. They claim to be in love. My life feels like a trashy daytime talk show now. The woman I once knew as classy has transformed into someone unrecognizable. Today, she announced her decision to move in with her affair partner, leaving me to grapple with the uncertainty of the baby's paternity. She feels too embarrassed to undergo a paternity test. For about a week, she attempted to grab my attention, to engage me in conversation, to make me plead for her affection, but I didn't fall for her attempts. I've mostly been giving her the cold shoulder, keeping our interactions brief. Although we've been sharing the same living space, I've retreated to a different room and distanced myself from her in every way. Her sulking and attempts to earn praise for not going to the gym for 5 consecutive days didn't sway me. Today, she texted me, announcing her decision to move in with him. Despite everything, I still harbor some concern for her. However, I've already consulted with a lawyer. I can care for her as a person and the potential mother of my child without being married to her. Nevertheless, it stung to hear her declare her intentions to be with him. I advised her against leaving the house and even suggested she consult a lawyer herself. Yet she seems indifferent to my advice. I don't believe she needs to move in with him. In fact, I pity her for her inability to stand on her own. I questioned whether he knew about her pregnancy and what narrative she had been spinning for him. She assured me that he knew and didn't mind if the baby was mine. He loves her and wants to be with her. It's perplexing. Surely, there are other options for him besides a married pregnant woman. It's nonsensical to me. Despite being scum, he's apparently attractive and financially stable, owning his own home. So my married pregnant wife can't be his only choice. I find it hard to fathom why a single man like him would willingly take on such baggage. Considering I could explore other options, if this child is indeed mine, then what? They'll share custody with my wife and her affair partner, splitting their time between households. I never imagined my life would become such a mess, and yet my wife finds it embarrassing to go for a simple blood test. Update 4. My wife has finally agreed to a paternity test. She moved in with her affair partner last weekend, taking very little with her. Most of her belongings remain at our house. Despite her departure, I refrained from reaching out to her, experiencing a mix of relief, anger, and sadness. I hardly ate until last night and may have had a bit too much to drink, but I'm coping. I'm sharing this update because I've received numerous messages, and frankly, it's emotionally draining to respond to each one with the same details. I'm not inclined to discuss her much. This morning, she informed me that her affair partner wants a DNA test, and she's agreed to it. Funny how she didn't care when I suggested it, but now that he's interested, she's on board. She even asked if I wanted to provide a sample, as it would be cheaper to test both potential fathers at once. At this point, the cost is irrelevant. I just want clarity. I won't have to see or interact with them. I simply need to schedule my own appointment for a cheek swab. Therefore, this Saturday, I'll do just that, and hopefully, we'll have the results within a week. I'll take whatever resolution I can get at this stage, as it's preferable to prolonging this uncertainty for another 20 weeks. So that's where I stand. I'm okay going to work every day, trying to keep moving forward. But I feel like I'm stuck in a state of limbo. I do miss her, honestly. It's hard knowing she's with him. It makes me feel sick. A part of me wants to beg her to come back, but I refuse to play games with her. If it turns out the baby is mine and she's still with him, it'll be even more unbearable. But unless he abandons her upon hearing that news, I won't lower myself to begging her. Now on to the next story. Story 2. Discovered that my girlfriend is a serial cheater, so I exposed her and ruined her life. We were together for 4 years before we split. Our mutual friend introduced us through a photo online, and I was instantly captivated by her. We hit it off, and she revealed to me 6 months into our relationship that she had been involved with someone else when we first connected. I was blindsided by this revelation. Had I known, I wouldn't have pursued her. Despite my initial anger, she managed to calm me down and explain her past. She described her previous relationship as tumultuous and toxic, which led her to seek solace elsewhere. So that's where I stand. I'm okay going to work every day trying to keep moving forward, but I feel like I'm stuck in a state of limbo. I do miss her, honestly. It's hard knowing she's with him. It makes me feel sick. A part of me wants to beg her to come back, but I refuse to play games with her. If it turns out the baby is mine and she's still with him, it'll be even more unbearable. But unless he abandons her upon hearing that news, I won't lower myself to begging her. Now, on to the next story. Story 2. Discovered that my girlfriend is a serial cheater, so I exposed her and ruined her life. We were together for 4 years before we split. Our mutual friend introduced us through a photo online, and I was instantly captivated by her. We hit it off, and she revealed to me 6 months into our relationship that she had been involved with someone else when we first connected. I was blindsided by this revelation. Had I known, I wouldn't have pursued her. Despite my initial anger, she managed to calm me down and explain her past. She described her previous relationship as tumultuous and toxic, which led her to seek solace elsewhere. As time went by, our relationship flourished. I had fallen deeply in love with her, and we had built a life together, sharing a home and caring for our two dogs. I believed I had found my ideal partner. Professionally, things were also going well. I excelled in my role at a pharmaceutical testing lab, climbing the ranks to manage multiple teams and achieving many of my career goals. Meanwhile, my girlfriend gained recognition for her exceptional portrait photography on social media. Her talent was undeniable, and she made a name for herself by offering free photography sessions to emerging models and influencers, showcasing her skills and expanding her reach. It was during one of these sessions that she met Connor, her affair partner. Connor fit the stereotype of a male model perfectly: tall, with dark hair, piercing blue eyes, and a muscular physique. He exuded charm and charisma, resembling a character from a perfume advertisement. I caught a glimpse of him as she scrolled through his Instagram account, evaluating potential collaborators for her free service. With his growing online following, especially on platforms like TikTok, where he shared captivating content, he was an ideal candidate for her projects. Despite Connor's undeniable attractiveness, I felt secure in my relationship. I had complete trust in my girlfriend, especially after our heartfelt discussion about her past infidelity and the remorse she expressed. I never imagined she would repeat her mistake. Moreover, she had collaborated with numerous models in the past without any issues, so I saw no reason why Connor would be any different. After their initial photo shoots, my girlfriend shared all the details with me, expressing admiration for Connor's talent and professionalism. She mentioned how they had developed a friendly rapport and how she looked forward to working with him again. While I found it a bit perplexing, as the purpose of her free service was to promote her work, she explained that Connor had numerous creative ideas for photo shoots that he wanted to pursue with her. I had no objections. In fact, I was pleased that her collaboration with Connor seemed to be yielding immediate benefits for her career, generating more opportunities and recognition. Over the following weeks, I began to notice a shift in my girlfriend's behavior. She became more distant, we stopped being intimate, and she started spending increasing amounts of time away from home. When I asked her about her frequent absences, she claimed she was busy with clients. However, I grew suspicious when she told me she was doing a photo shoot with a friend, only to later see a picture of her with Connor posted online. They were clearly together at lunch, and the outfit she was wearing matched what she had left home in. It became apparent that she had lied to me about her plans and was spending time with Connor instead. This realization triggered feelings of insecurity that I hadn't experienced before. Since I hadn't met most of her clients, Connor and I had never crossed paths. Moreover, she hadn't posted about our relationship on her social media, much like she had refrained from doing so with her ex-boyfriend. This led me to speculate that Connor might not be aware of our relationship, and I feared a similar situation was unfolding. I decided to investigate further by scrutinizing Connor's Instagram page for any additional clues. During my search, I noticed that the photo Connor had posted with my girlfriend had been deleted, which struck me as odd. It seemed plausible that my girlfriend may have asked him to remove it. Considering that she typically edited her photos on her computer and posted them from there, I wondered if her Instagram account was already logged in on his device. Fortunately, my suspicions were validated. I delved into her messages to uncover the truth. It didn't take long to find evidence confirming their affair. They were still in the early stages of their relationship, getting to know each other, and from what I could gather, there was no mention of my girlfriend being in a relationship. It seemed plausible that Connor was unaware of my existence. I captured screenshots of their conversations and sent them to myself via email, unsure of my next steps. My life was deeply intertwined with hers, and breaking up was bound to be messy. However, I realized that my girlfriend's deceit extended beyond our relationship, prompting me to question if she had been dishonest about her ex-boyfriend as well. After some investigation, I managed to identify him and reached out to him via Instagram. I asked if we could discuss her, and to my surprise, he responded promptly, agreeing to a video call later that evening. Meanwhile, my girlfriend was still out with Connor, likely spending the night with him. I reached out to her ex, and we had a conversation that shed new light on the situation. His account of events closely mirrored my own experience. They had been happy together until her interest in someone else led her to abruptly end their relationship. According to him, there were no warning signs. One day they were discussing their future, and the next she had packed up and left without a proper explanation. He had to persistently seek answers from her about the sudden breakup. He strongly advised me to distance myself from her as soon as possible. When my girlfriend returned home late that night, I feigned being occupied with work and declined to join her in bed. While she slept, I made the decision to reach out to Connor and inform him of the situation. I suspected he was unaware of her past actions, and I believed he deserved to know. I messaged him on Instagram, sharing my story along with the screenshots provided by her ex. I offered to discuss the matter further if he wished to do so. The next morning, I received a message from Connor expressing shock at the revelations. Initially unsure of whether to believe me, I provided evidence of my relationship status, which seemed to convince him. Our conversation confirmed my suspicions. My girlfriend hadn't disclosed our relationship when she and Connor began talking. In fact, she had affirmatively claimed to be single when asked by him on their first meeting. Connor felt angry and deceived, but also guilty for inadvertently ending my relationship. I reassured him that he bore no responsibility for the situation. Meanwhile, my girlfriend left for a supposed client meeting, allowing me the opportunity to discreetly pack my belongings and relocate to a hotel. I wanted her to experience the same sense of abandonment she had inflicted on me. Throughout the day, she bombarded me with calls, bewildered and hurt by my departure, especially since I had taken our dogs with me. However, I chose not to disclose my whereabouts, opting for a strategy of no contact to leave her grappling with unresolved issues. I aimed for a long-term impact rather than short-term closure. In response to the revelations, Connor removed many of the photos featuring my girlfriend and even shared some of the incriminating screenshots on his Instagram story, albeit with my name blurred out. He cautioned against blindly trusting others, implying the betrayal he had experienced. It didn't take much for followers to connect the dots. Consequently, my girlfriend suffered a loss of followers, and Connor ended their relationship altogether, leaving her single. With her inability to afford our shared home on her own, she was forced to relocate. Ultimately, her actions not only resulted in personal consequences, but also impacted her professional prospects, potentially hindering lucrative opportunities, especially considering Connor's burgeoning success with brand deals from prominent designers.